Huberman takes a very scientific approach to things and does a variety of things that are backed by evidence and to explore these and make an example of himself, which I really respect and appreciate. And what he was talking about was the way he does ice baths and sauna and different things like that is through this kind of principle of pushing walls. And I like that. I thought about that. I've done that in my own life. And it's kind of the way I think about it. But the way he articulated it, I really appreciated this idea of like, wherever you want to stop, just go a little further. I like to ice bath for at least 3 minutes, especially this time of year because the ice bath gets down to about 40 degrees at night. And I can, if I get in early enough in the day, it's still in that pretty cold temp and I don't have to go buy like $30 worth of ice, which is what it takes to fill that damn thing up. And I don't have $10,000 to buy an ice bath. So one of the really cool ones. So for me, I'm like, all right, in the sauna, right? I like to go in there. I'm like, whenever I want to stop, whenever that little fucking voice in my head is like, God, I got to stop. I got to stop. Just a little bit more. Maybe it's 5 more minutes. Maybe it's 2 more minutes. Just get past the wall, push the wall. And what you'll notice is that maybe that wall may recede a little bit before the next time, but it's not where it was the day before. Same thing with the ice. If I don't want to get in that bitch, sometimes I have to break like 2 inches of ice to get in there. Sometimes it's just a dunk. I don't want to do it. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going in 20 seconds, and then I'm going to get back in the sauna. And that next 20 minutes in the sauna, I'm like, God, you're such a bitch. You got that 3 minutes in there. Let's go. And the next time I get out, because I got in if I didn't get in the first time, I wouldn't do it. But I get in, do a dunk, 20 seconds, maybe, get my head underneath the water, feel it. And then I get back in the sauna and I go, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but I pushed the wall. If you don't push the wall, you're leaving something left on the table there, in my opinion. So where can we do that, right? That's one thing. Sauna, ice bath is one thing. Exercise is one thing. But where can we do it outside of the physical, outside of the mental? Where can we do it emotionally, right? Men in particular. Where can you do that emotionally? I'm not an advocate for softening men up. I have an aversion to soft men. You guys have seen this. You guys know this. I have issues respecting soft men, right? Guys that wear mala beads and gowns and float around and talk about the ethereal and blah, 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 blah. I find them to be pussies, right? Maybe that's not you. Maybe you resonate with that and I respect that for you. But for me, I can't handle that. But I do think it's important for men to be able to push walls emotionally. Can you communicate and be vulnerable with your partner in that environment, right? And that doesn't mean softening up necessarily. Maybe it's a pragmatic communication style. Maybe it's communicating emotions, not mirroring the feminine, but through the masculine, right? Being comfortable enough in yourself, grounded enough and stable enough and sturdy enough that you can push walls within yourself emotionally. And in my opinion, by doing that, by consciously developing that practice and that ability to push walls physically, mentally, and emotionally, by doing that, you have less of a propensity, less of a bias towards mirroring the feminine expression of emotions. So by doing that, a whole process, and by trying that, and that's different for everybody. I can't sit here and tell you how to do it necessarily, right? I had a conversation, we kind of went back and forth, and I saw what made sense for you. Yeah, maybe we could have that conversation, but I can't give you, there's no step-by-step guideline on how to emote, right? How to express and interact with your own emotions, and how to communicate those. But we can push walls in all aspects of our lives. And when you bring up the word emotions, it kind of carries a little bit of baggage, because the examples we see out there are guys that are so over the top in sharing these emotions. That's one option. Or we have this other like antiquated men are fucking stay hard, type of thing. It's like this antiquated kind of reductionist masculinity expression. And I think what we have to do is take that responsibility within ourselves, which is a masculine trait. Take responsibility to express one's emotions, especially if you're heading into parenthood, especially if you're in a relationship. These things are important. That doesn't mean softening necessarily. What it does mean is creating more awareness of oneself and being able to push those walls emotionally and communicate in a way that feels aligned. And then you don't get blindsided by emotional waves. You create more groundedness, more resilience, right? We love that principle of resilienceness on this show. You get grounded in that resilience, and you're more open to your own emotional expressions, emotional needs, emotional desires, because they do exist no matter how hardcore you are. What the important thing to do is be able to push those walls within yourself. Now, pushing the walls physically and mentally can help prime that pathway. And that's why principles are so important.